Hello world! Thank you for joining us for another episode of Swagga Reviews. Today, we're going to review the book Star Wars from a certain point of view. In this spoiler-free review, we're going to cover 5 things you should know concerning the book. The first thing you should know, this is unlike other Star Wars books. The Star Wars Certain Point of View book contains 40 short stories to represent 40 years of Star Wars history. According to Audible's book summary, all participating authors have generously forgone any compensation for their stories. Instead, their proceeds will be donated to First Book, a leading nonprofit that provides new books, learning materials, and other essentials to educators and organizations serving children in need. Number 2. The books begin from the very end of Rogue One and continue until the end of A New Hope, with the destruction of the Death Star. That's right. These 40 stories only span during the time of the original Star Wars release of A New Hope. Number 3. You're going to find some very short stories. You are also going to find some very long stories. Unfortunately, the length of the story has nothing to do with the quality of the story. While there isn't any continuity between the stories themselves, they do all happen in sequence. I will admit that the shorter stories tend to be a little better. I find this to be the case because sometimes the author, and even the narrator, may not do the story justice or be able to save it. And with that means a long, drawn-out scenario that may not be warranted. Number 4. The books, or the series of short stories, is really just a series of retcon moments. What I mean by that is, it's going to give you filler for all the scenes that you've seen during the movie A New Hope. Basically, you see a stormtrooper in the back, you may know his thoughts and what motivates him as a character. If you've happened to watch any of the Forces of Destiny, you've seen that they have these retcon moments where they take an innocuous scene and expand it and give you more context. Some of these stories hit, and some of them do not. Ultimately, the new information you find in these stories is well worth the read. There are some big things that I believe are directly related to The Last Jedi, character development, and all sorts of other little tidbits that are beneficial from reading the book. Either way, it's going to give you a completely new experience when you watch A New Hope. Number 5. One of the things that I found that I like the most is that you get to hear from familiar characters that existed in other timelines or time periods of Star Wars. And you kind of get an idea where they were in the galaxy. So let's say there's someone from episode 5 or episode 6 or episode 3 and they're not in A New Hope, but you know they exist in the timeline. You may wonder what they're up to, where they're at, why they're not involved. And for some characters, they do fill in the gap. They kind of let you know where they're at in the galaxy during that time, and it's kind of nice to get that in book form. Overall, I feel that Star Wars, from a certain point of view, is not the kind of book that I normally would like, and I don't like it at its price point. However, there is definitely value to reading a book like this, and it's a little more lighthearted. I don't know that it should count as a must-read Star Wars book. I'm sure that you could go into a spoiler review and hear about the handful of stories that may matter. It's nice to hear a bunch of different narrators in the same book, some guest narrators and things of that nature, but it's not going to necessarily change the world for you. It just gives you a little extra information. If you found you enjoyed the spoiler-free Star Wars book review, please feel free to subscribe and like this video. We have a spoiler version of this coming very soon. Thank you for checking out Swagga Reviews. We appreciate you, and we'll see you again soon.